Thank you for joining today. Today is Taeguek 7장. Lower part of the body. Alright, let's figure out what are the mistakes so our referee can level up at the same time, better on skills, right? Okay, we're gonna have better view if you stay with me and learn and maybe refresh, okay, refreshing all these errors that the most athletes make, slight mistakes, not a big one, maybe just a few other ones, okay? So Taeguek 7장, there's a lot of things to go over in Taeguek 7장. Why? Because there's a new stance in Taeguek 7장, starting with the 범서기, the tiger stand, right? The tiger stand, the 범서기, okay? So when we do the 범서기, we have to sit 90% of the body on the back foot. Let's go over our lower part of the Taeguek 7장 after 5-second 준비. From 나란히 서기, you're gonna turn, shift your body weight 90% because you have to sit on one side. And then turn it over, yes? And then make sure your both knee bend. Okay, both knee bend. And then doing a palm blocking, right? So these are the stance right here, and keep your body straight. Do not lean forward. This is not good, right? This is not good, right? Okay, so there's the area where you have to look the straight posture right here. Straight posture. Straight posture for your palm blocking, correct? After the palm blocking, you have to place your heels down in order to do the front kick, and then coming back for another tiger stance. That's what you're supposed to perform. Then how you're supposed to perform. You have to place it down. You have to place it down, okay? After you place it down, you execute with the 45-degree pivoting, and then coming back, then coming up again at the same time. Okay, same time. So after the same time, we're going to shift our body weight to the left because we're going to turn around by using over shoulders, and then place right there where it's supposed to be. Yes, the tiger stand. Okay. So this is the area where a lot of students were going to make mistakes because they're going to set it down. When they lose balance, they have to turn with their heel because if their weight is in the back instead of shifted over, if they didn't shift, then they're going to turn with the heels and put it up like that, that's a minor mistake, pivoting with the heels, right? Or when they are doing this, when they're doing this, they're going to put it down and then turn it again, that's we call double pivoting, right? So we don't want to see that either. Okay, so not placing again. Okay, not dropping, lose balance and pivoting the heels again, right? So you have to shift your body weight and make sure you pivot at once. Okay? So that's important. When they do that, that's great. Good presentation right there, no mistakes. Okay, then they're gonna do what? Put it down, and then execute, and then put it back up. Same thing as the first one, okay? So we're gonna skip this part, and then we're gonna put it down right here. You're gonna put it down. So you're gonna put it down, and set for 뒷굽이, the back stand, right? 뒷굽이. So some people, they do like this, which is not. This is not same time anymore. So when you are here at the 90% of body weight, now you have to put it down and place it. This is how you're supposed to go. You're not gonna go like that. That's not good. That's not good, okay? That's not good. Okay, you're gonna just let it down, let it drop and step. Okay, drop and step. Nice move, drop and step, right? Why? We have to use the upper body with the left foot later. Okay, so the focus on the lower part is drop and step. And then when they go forward, they have to have a 1 foot apart right here. Why is 1 foot apart? Because you're going to pivot the heels inside again. You're going to pivot heel inside again. So that's why we have a 1 foot apart, okay? So if you don't have a 1 foot apart, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen? You're going to have a T, Mr. T, right? Mr. T right here. That's a minor mistake, okay? That's why you got to have a 1 foot apart. Okay, 1 foot apart, so you could have a nice back stance. And what are the common mistakes going forward here from the back stand to back stand? So they're going to open up their toe. They're going to open up their toe, so it's easier to go forward if they open up the toe. So if they open up the toe, that's a minor deduction. And then if they flinch like this because they want to go forward, and then they bring their toes up and then go forward, that's also a minor deduction, right? So they have to move at the same time. They're pivoting finish when the stepping forward foot touches the ground. The pivoting foot has to end at the same time, which is good presentation, right? Okay, so after the back stand, now going back into a tiger stand, 범서기, once again. Okay, so you're gonna shift it over, and then you're gonna pivot. Okay, so right here, you're gonna shift it over, and then pivot. Okay, that's how you're supposed to go. Pivot over, right? So that's the strike, blocking, blocking and striking. Blocking and striking. So you have to steady. When you're doing this move, you cannot wobble. Okay, you cannot wobble. If you're wobbling, that's a minor deduction because you lost balance, right? Losing balance is a minor deduction, so you gotta trigger that button when they lose balance every time. So same thing from here, you're gonna shift your body weight so you can pivot at once. Naturally. Ta-da! Right? You gotta spin around naturally. Okay? So these comes from training, experience. You gotta train a lot. Okay? You wanna spin well, you gotta train your body a lot. Then your body get used to it. And then you don't even have to think about doing it. Yes, sir? Alright, so after that motion once again, now here's the part that you have to put it together. We have a 모아서기. Woohoo! Another new stand. So 모아서기, you gotta pivot. You're gonna pivot, but not pivot, heel down, put it together. Nope, that's a minor deduction. That we consider that as a two move. It's too far away. Remember, same time. So after you did your thing for the technique, and then you have to place the same time. So you're gonna shift your body weight to the center right here, to the center, and then when the heels go down, then you have to place it down together. You gotta relocate your left foot into your right foot. So right here, you're gonna relocate into the right foot. Okay, so you make a 모아서기. 모아서기 is together stance, right? Okay, you have to put it together. If your toes is open, when you do this, that's a minor, right? When your toes are not together, you had a little gap there, that's a minor, right? But what if you have a 1 foot apart? What happened? That's a major, because that's 준비서기, 나란히서기. It's totally different stance, okay? This is 모아서기. This is 나란히서기. So maybe a slightly open, the toes are not touched, that can be a minor. But if you open a little bit longer than a half a foot, that's a major. You can't do that, okay? So focus on together stand. After you're done with that, now front stand. So how do you go? Your left leg goes slightly out. So right foot can pivot it in, right? Left foot goes slightly out. So left foot goes slightly out so the right foot can pivot it in. Okay, make sure you make a 1 fist distance on the width. And then after that, one more time, right? So when you're doing this, remember, the front stand, you keep the front leg sturdy, and then what do? 1 foot apart. 1 foot apart. Same thing on the back stand, 1 foot apart. Okay, because you have to turn it in. The heels turns in. Okay, 1 foot apart. Heel turns in. Good? All right. We're good up to here. Okay? Now we're going to spin around right here, 270 degrees, turning, and do the double outer blocking motion. Okay, from front stand, right? Front stand to do what? Double outer motion. So front stand to double outer motion. So when you're doing that, you cannot stop this foot. You cannot stop this foot, half, and then finish next half. So that means what? Double pivoting. So that's going to be a minor deduction as well if you stop during the turning. Okay, you cannot stop. So how are you going to do turning? By shifting your body weight, putting your body weight in the right spot. So you spin and then continue moving until you finish the last spot. So you got to do the nice front stance. And then here's a lot of technique. The next technique has a lot of techniques. Okay, outer block. Now we're going to reach out, right? We're going to reach out and do the knee kick. Knee kick to where? Knee kick to where? A tummy, right? Solar plexus. Solar plexus height. Solar plexus height. Not this height. Not this height. Solar plexus height. Okay? Why? Because you grab and you put it down and you're going for the solar plexus. You're not going for the stomach. You're going for the solar plexus. Our middle strike is the solar plexus, not the middle for tummy, right? So you're going for the solar plexus. So you bring it up for the solar plexus. Then you set down 45 foot. Why? Because we have kuwasogi, okay? 뒷kuwasogi right here. When you want to perform the kuwasogi, you gotta have a 45 foot on the angle. Let me show you this angle, okay? So if you're doing this, after the knee strike, then you turn in 45 right here. Turn in. You see the back leg is dropping. You see the back leg is dropping because you have to make a nice triangle, a diamond shape right in here, right? Diamond shape right here. And then 45 angle, so you could do the double flipping punch here. You have to perform in a correct technique. If you don't want to get any minor deduction or major deduction, you have to keep practice, right? And then referee, we're going to keep practice watching those moves, making sure everyone is doing a correct move. Okay, you also have to memorize, okay, knee kick to the solar plexus, 45 on the foot for the 뒷kuwasogi, and then make sure we have an open space in between instead of closing, open space, balance, okay, not falling, okay, balance, right? And then repivoting, right? After that, we repivoting, right? For front stand, repivoting at the same time, okay? So that's over there, that's over here, right? Repivoting. And then when you're turning, what do? A lot of common mistake that I've been telling from front stand to front stand was heel up, so you can have a nice push, and then turn. That heel needs to be getting a minor deduction right there. Okay, make sure their heel is not up. Make sure the athletes bend your knee. Make sure referee you catch that heel up. Athletes bend your knees. And then spin around and then do the front stand again. Okay? And then once again, knee kick. So when we do the knee kick, this foot turns 45 angle because it's a kick, right? Knee kick, stepping forward 45 foot, 뒷kuwasogi, and then repivoting, right? Okay, very nice. Now here's another common mistake from the athletes. They turn in like this. Oh, that's a minor deduction. They just move their toes again, right? All right. So you have to push. Actually, you got to bend your knee. You got to bend your knee and pivot out and make a walking stance. Okay, walking stance forward. Tempo strike. Okay, back fist. So we're going to do a walking stand. And then we have a crossing kick to the target, right? Crossing kick to the target. So when you do the crossing kick, then you have to do a horse riding stand right after the crossing kick. Okay? So here we go. After strike, elbow strike, and then nice a horse riding stand. And then many people make mistake on this part right here to the next move, the back fist. Okay? Why? Because we require double foot moving. Double foot moving. We require double foot moving. What kind of foot moving? This one is not pivoting with the heel. It's not pivoting with the heel. It's pick up, off the ground, replace, off the ground, replace. Back foot comes in to make walking stand, 앞서기. So it needs to come in because we're at horse riding stand, which is the 2 feet apart, right? Now we have to make a 1 foot apart. So you're going to turn in and turn in. Okay? We're going to pick up, set, and step in. And do the back fist strike. Okay? After the back fist strike, it's the last one, is what? We strike. Right? We strike. Okay? We strike. And then getting into horse riding stand. Okay? 주춤석에 getting into a horse riding stand. So when you're getting into a horse riding stand, you have to have a number 11, the both toe facing the same direction, right? One time this way, one time the other side. But also when you're doing a crossing kick, you gotta be careful. Watch the crossing kick. When you're crossing kick, you don't wanna see that 1 and then 2. Did you see that? That's 1 and 2. They cannot do 1 and 2. They have to do what? At one time. That one pivot. Only one time pivoting. Okay? So you gotta keep spinning around. Make sure you go, correct speed. Don't go fast. Don't stop in the middle. Speed and finish at the same time. That's a good presentation. All right. On the last one, after the elbow strike, the knife in stays. And then when you're going into a horse riding stand to horse riding stand, horse riding stand to horse riding stand is this for the side punch kia. But how do we do this? How do we do this? If I show you from the side view, you're not going to see really well. But if I show you from the front view, you're going to see what am I doing? Pivoting with the ball of the foot, correct? So I'm pivoting with the ball of the foot when my back foot cross over. When my back foot cross over and this foot is going to turn in for me because my weight is in perfect area where it's supposed to be. My weight, is it on the left or is it on the right? My weight has to be in the perfect area how you want to step and then how you want to go back. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, but most common mistake is the opening foot. Well, after block, opening foot to punch strike. That's a big mistake. They didn't have to open the foot, but this is turning like that. You need to be trained again, okay? But most common mistake is the heel open because it's easier. It's easier. It's step easier, okay? That's why they do that because it's easier, okay? But you don't want to go easier and get a minor deduction, athletes. And referee, let's catch that. Spinning with the ball of the foot, and making sure they're in a straight line, okay? The toes looking same direction, the heels are same line. Heels are in same line, okay? And then after that we go 바로 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Okay, 11. 택출장. There's a new stance as we described during this video taken was tiger stand. 벙서기, tiger stand. Make sure we do the nice tiger. How do you do the tiger? They're right in front of the big toe. Right in front of the big toe, okay? And then 90-degree body weight on the back side because this side, not much, only 10%. So you should be, anytime you should be able to pick up. If you have to replace, you have to able to do that because you're carrying a 90% weight on the back leg. And straight your upper body posture, okay? But when you see the front, the knee, both knee has to stay inside if the both knee are not staying inside, this is a minor deduction as well. Which way you're facing? A wrong direction, okay? Remember, the front leg has to face the target where you're going, the direction that you're going. That's the front leg. Then that leg cannot be open. That leg has to be closed, and both knee has to stick together when you're performing that move. Yes? Okay. That's the 범석이 tiger stand. Now, next one was the together stand, 모아서기. 모아서기. When you did the 모아서기, make sure your toe, big toes are together. Okay, big toes are together. Make sure your heels are together. If you do that, we know. Referee knows when you don't have a back heel are not touched. They know. Okay. Don't assume that you should be okay with it. If you're lucky, yeah, but they would know. Okay, so please focus on 모아서기, 차렷. Some of the little kids cannot stand still. I understand because they have a lot of interest in many things that is around the area. Okay, that's why they keep moving. They cannot stand still. But when we coach them, when we teach them, and when we tell them and educate, they stand still. Even 3 years old, they stand still. That's training. So we're in training video. So let's train together really hard. Okay? Really hard. Going all the way up with me to 한수 품새. I'm going to go all the way up, guys. Please don't forget to look at the video that I already made. Started from 태극 1장. And we're going all the way to 한수. Okay? Alright. Thank you for joining. And like and share. Thank you everyone. 경례.